Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Today we are taking a look at Psalm 130. So we're going to take a look at it in two parts, and then I'm going to read some other verses and just let's chat about it. So let's go. Let's get started. Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord. Lord, hear my voice. Let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If thou, Lord, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand? But there is forgiveness with thee, that thou mayest be feared. So we're in our Psalms of Ascent as we make our way up the steps of the temple. And here at the very start of Psalm 130, we see this idea of really talking about our painful, sinful experiences, right? If thou, Lord, shouldest mark our iniquities, who shall stand? Meaning no one here is going to stand. We are all sinners who fall short of God, right? And so here's the deal. That's just how it is. That's where we're at. And what this psalm is really leading us to is this idea of that's the state we're in. Right? That's where we are. So many times in our life, we think to ourselves, I've had too much sin in my life. I always want to say to people, how much is too much sin that God won't forgive it? Well, the answer actually comes in the second half of this psalm. So let's take a look. If you've ever felt like you've just had too much sin in your life, that there's no way that God could redeem you, the Psalm 130 is for you. Let's keep reading as we go into verse 5 of Psalm 130. I will wait for the Lord, my soul doth wait, and in his word do I hope. My soul waiteth for the Lord more than they that watch for the morning. I say more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel hope in the Lord. With the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption, and he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities. So here we hear we're hopeful now, right? We're waiting for the Lord more than they that watch the night. And back in the time when this was first penned, right, the watchmen were really key. They would sit there through the night and they would really listen. Their ears were key too, right? To know what was coming to attack the village. And they did that all night, and they waited for the sun to rise so that morning could come. And while many would say, gosh, they're so brave and they're so tough being out there in the night, the reality is when you're a watchman, you know that you're really waiting for God to show up, because you're not brave, you're blessed. And in that night, in the darkness, when it gets really dark and there's all these scary things around you and you have to figure out how to find the way to the light, sometimes it's just really about waiting in that time of darkness with God, waiting for God to be there with you, waiting for him to show up, looking for him more than you look for anything else, more than you rely on your own strengths, on who you are. Rely on him to make your weaknesses strength. And then at the end, as we talk about our sinful experiences of how much sin is too much sin for God, we'll look at the very last verse. In Psalm 138, we have, and he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities. Well, that's true for us too. He redeems us from everything. There isn't a place that you have been that he won't go to get you from. And to confirm that, let's pop over to my friend Jeremiah, and I'm going to read from Jeremiah 29:11. It's a pretty well-known verse, but I'm going to talk about it because I think this also talks to us about where God comes from. And I'm going to read the 3 verses after it so that we can kind of talk about this Jeremiah verse in a little bit more of a conceptual way. So Jeremiah starting at 29:11, and I'll go to 13. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future. So right there, God is declaring to you something that the devil won't do, that he's here to give you a hope and a future. But let's continue on. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So God not only has a hope and a future for us, he promises full redemption from all of our sinful past, but he's also waiting for us to seek him out with our hearts, to turn our hearts towards him, and to build that relationship that he has always wanted to have with us from the very beginning of time. All right, all. Happy Sunday. Psalm 130, Psalms of Ascent. Chatting at Cheesman. Chatting at Cheesman. Bye.